like he was swapped out with somebody at some point. And they're not trying to say like he's like Osiris, where Osiris was like body snatched by Savathun. When Saint 14 hasn't been body snatched by anybody.
What did he say?
Right? All right, guys. Well, we're back with the third and final week of Episode 1, Act 1, supposedly. I think after this, there's going to be a little bit of a break where people can just, catch up on other things, other games, and they'll come back with more content in a couple weeks from now. I think we're jumping into another one, right? Yeah, receive a briefing from Failsafe in the helm. And then, that's weirdly enough, I didn't get a pop-up on the, on my dashboard saying, like, hey, you have something to go do. I am kind of enjoying that they're doing this episode. I don't have to keep tuning in week after week after week after week, because it's nice to come back for a few weeks, play, do some stuff off screen. I'm trying, guys, to get to the raid when I can, but this week's been busy for a number of reasons, just because also starting a new job and doing recordings for other games in the background. I'm trying to get those done. And I'm just trying to find some time right now to actually do these recordings. I'll try to keep the content coming when I can, and again, I want to do a video on the raid when we have a chance. Failsafe, yes.
Greetings, Captain. Ikora has requested that I accelerate my studies of the Nessus Vex, so I am overclocking my internals to...
Captain, I'm gonna disengage my socialization filter, if that's okay. Maintaining this uplink takes a lot of power. Yeah, this is better. I'm running those scans Ikora wanted, and I've got some ideas about new sample sites down on Nessus. And hey, I want you to know, I'm glad to be a part of the team again. Working with you and the Vanguard, the whole deal, it's nice. I like to be useful to people. It gives me a reason to, it's part of my programming. So even if I don't sound excited, know that I am. I am way into it. Anyway, ready when you are. No, filter's not re-engaging. Let's just get going.
It's like, it's taking too much energy to even be chipper with you guys right now, and I'm doing all these calculations in the background, so I'm going to turn off my happy side and just let you know that I am stoked to be with you guys. I like that. To maximize the power flowing to her research banks, she's turned off her socialization filter. She sounds audibly relieved as her voice is stripped of its forced politeness. I want you to know that I'm glad to be part of a team again, working with you in the Vanguard, the whole deal. It's nice. I like Failsafe. I think we should try our best to get her off the planet. Put her in her exobody. Get her off the ship. She doesn't need to be tethered to a defunct spaceship in order for her to maintain her, maintain her presence on the planet, does she? Alright, we have 4 red border weapons we can right away harvest. Which one of those weapons is closest? 3 of the 5 swords. 2 of the 5 auto rifles. None of the hand cannons. 1 scout rifle. I mean, it makes sense to go for the sword, because the sword is just the next... I know, the sword is not very good. Weirdly enough, this thing can roll with, what is it, cold steel or whatever, but, the heavy caster frame sword attack, the whirlwind blade, projectile, does not freeze and shatter targets. That's just so lame. So I'm the sword doesn't even have its one cool identity piece. So, yeah, I mean, the sword is just going to be a whatever kind of sword. I mean, if you really want a caster frame sword that we can, craft, sure, but, I mean, I wouldn't put too much into it. Also, behind the scenes, too, I've been grinding a lot to try to get a really good roll of this Stoicism cloak, or Relativism. The best ones I've gotten so far are Spirit of the Caliban with the Kyre attack, so grenades. Not even grenade final blows. Casting my grenade grants me Woven Mail. And then Power Melee final blows triggers an ignition. Those are really nice. And then we have Spirit of the Dragon, Spirit of the Lyre. I would like Caliban in the Lyre. I think that's the most optimal roll for most hunters. And then we have Spirit of the Galanor and Spirit of the Coyote. I think we have a different Galanor one in the vault somewhere. That one might not actually be the one that I'm looking for. Okay, anyways, is this a named mission? Locate sites from which extract forum which to extract radial area samples. Okay, so this is just patrols. I like Failsafe. I really do. I think I mentioned in a previous videos that I think we should just sunset Nessus, but I forget that, like, technically speaking, Bungie promised that they would not sunset any more planets, so we can't really sunset Nessus, even if I feel like come on, man, like Nessus hasn't really been a useful or prominent planet up until like recently. And it's only because this season, I'm trying to think of another season where like Nessus was like a prominent place to be fighting at. And the only other time I can think of is like season of like The Chosen, I think. And I think like barely there, and that's just for like the strike. I think I could just, yeah, cross this whole way like this. God, skimmers are so much better than normal sparrows. I could just do this. No! No! Keep going! Come on. What the hell? I can't go that way. I am not sure why. I know a lot of people were sad that the fishing areas got removed. They probably could have kept fishing because none of the areas in question that the fishing places were lost, like, mattered, because all these places are still here.
Welcome back to Nessus, Captain. I will now re-engage my proximity-based detection method to lead you toward a useful sample. Don't worry. I refined it after last time. It's a lot more sophisticated now. Beep boop. Beep boop. Beep boop. Beep boop.
Video area sample collected. That's interesting. I can't collect that sample. There's another one. Is there something under the water? No. There's another one over here. Rising Chorus Act 1, locate the next site of which to extract radiolaria. Oh, in the Watcher's Grave. Okay, we'll go back that way. I know a lot of people were sad that the fishing holes were taken away, and I was like, I mean, if people really want those fishing holes, I don't see why we couldn't have just left them in for people. They weren't hurting anybody. You can still fish for, like, exotic engrams or like golf balls or whatever. I'm trying to think of what I want to do, because I know I have to make a video for the raid. I have done a lot of research. I've done a lot of homework on that too. I specifically watched Fallout's videos. He had to put multiple videos out for the raid. One for like the majority of the raid, and weirdly enough, the fourth encounter needed its own separate video, and that was really intimidating. And I'm like, holy hell, the fourth encounter needs its own separate guide for some reason. Why? And after watching it, I'm like, oh, this is so needlessly complicated. And I'm like, dang. I know Bungie wanted to make, like, the last, like, Salvation's Edge to be, like, one of the most memorable raids in the history, but I thought they would do that due to, like, the set pieces or, like, the lore implications. Not, like, it being, like, so complex that you needed to, like, it's gonna be, like, even, like, on average runs, even with a really good team, you're probably gonna spend, like, at least an hour and a half inside of that raid. I know you can speed run it. I've seen a couple speed runs on YouTube already where they've done it, like, in 30 minutes. But I'm talking like the average fire team, especially fire teams who have not yet done the raid yet. They're gonna spend like a good part of their day inside of that thing. And I feel like me doing it for the very first time, we are also gonna spend quite a good bit of our time in there. Which is why I'm like, I haven't had a chance to do the raid quite yet. I think I'm gonna do it this week at some point for sure. I'll try to get it done tomorrow when I get back from my my new job. And then they haven't released Iron Banner yet, weirdly enough. I thought they would have done Iron Banner already. There's another one. Radiolaria sample, and then there's another one. Radiolaria sample.
Excellent. This sample will do nicely. I can use this radiolaria to see how far the unpredictable behavior of the Vex is spreading.
I wonder if we're gonna finally put a face to whoever is causing all the issues for the Vex right now. I know if you're keeping up with the lore, most people have a rough idea of who it is. But I would like a hard confirmation, like, hey, the person who's doing all this stuff to the Vex is X or Y or Z. I haven't been keeping up with the unveiling lore books in order to know for sure. Where is this? Am I going in the right direction? No. Where are you taking me? That's not the right way. Is it this way? That's also not right. I wonder if it's inside this lost sector. No, it's towards the wall. It's towards that way. Interesting. Must be in an underground cavern somewhere. We'll follow the GPS. I was getting confused because like the GPS is leading me like away from where I'm trying to go. As long as it doesn't lead me on a huge roundabout way of like getting back to that spot, because the GPS doesn't understand that I'm right there.
That's one fancy glimmer drill.
Knowing you, it won't look that way for long.
Okay, where are you leading me? I mean, it's kind of... We're not even, like, in the same place anymore. I mean, I get where it's leading us into now. But, like, I'm not sure why it brought us there to start with. Oh, well, I mean, I picked that spot to go there first, but you know what I mean. Right. Let's see if we find any weirdness downstairs now, over here. Was this always here, or is this new? It's hard to remember what this room was supposed to look like. I haven't been here in forever.
Okay, more radiolaria. Oh, this is strange. There's definitely something influencing the...
Oh, a lot of these
Wait,
shadow things are getting
Am I
stuff.
getting a call? I'm getting a call! Hello?
Guardian, this is Osiris. It's Saint. Meet me at the helm immediately.
Ooh, that sounds important. We'd better go.
All these little shadow monster things are here again, and they're like watching over us, and now Osiris is telling us that there's something wrong with Saint. No bueno? We know he's supposed to play a pivotal role in the series, or in this episode, and all of these Vex have like this compelled abbreviation to their name. God, I keep sneezing. They have this abbreviation to their name that says compelled, and they have like this light collar around their necks, and we see in the trailers that Saint 14 also has a collar similar to them around his neck. I wonder if he's also being mind controlled by something.
Saint, come in. Damn it all.
Is that answering your call?
Guardian, I've been unable to get through to Saint. The Vex must be jamming the frequency.
Saint unit, please respond.
There's no interference. His comms are open, he's just not answering.
Oh.
That is not like him at all. Something's wrong.
One moment. I have triangulated the last known coordinates of the Saint unit. He touched down not far from the Nessus object impact site.
The impact site. Guardian, you know that area. Go back to Nessus and follow his path. Please. Saint can stand against any Vex. But I fear there may be something more sinister at work here.
Sharing coordinates. Ready when you are, Captain.
I wonder if he's like trying to burrow his way into the planet's crust for some reason. I wonder if he knows, and I wonder if he suspects something we don't about what's going on here. Right, it's a mission-specific mission now. Mesmerize. I don't think this is a match made. I think we're just jumping in.
Thank you for looking into this, Guardian. It's unlike Saint to go AWOL. I left Osiris in the helm, against his objections. Nessus is undergoing a rapid metamorphosis. And until we understand the nature of its evolution, I'm not risking any lightless personnel. Guardian,
Aww.
I'm concerned. Saint is one of the Vex's oldest enemies. They hold him in esteem, if that makes sense. If they capture him, it won't be to kill him. They'll go deeper than that. Let's hope it's nothing. I'll be your eye in the sky for this op, and Failsafe will be tech on the ground. Good luck.
Interesting. Like if they've tried to capture him, they're not capturing him to kill him because they know that didn't work last time. So if they capture him, they're capturing him for something else. Oh, the flora is very different here now.
Last known coordinates. He was headed directly into the well of flame.
The radiolaria has been drained from this basin, but there's no evidence of a fight.
The Vex just let him pass.
Lydrion's
The Saint unit
symphonic
may have entered
mind.
peacefully, but it appears the captain will meet violent resistance.
Oh, I love this art.
Crap. I missed.
Guardian, the Vex are peeling back, retreating under suppressing fire. Those are infantry tactics we normally see from the Cabal or Fallen.
Or Guardians.
Something in their strategic doctrine must have changed. We need to get to Saint right away.
That line from Failsafe makes it implies that like Saint is somehow commanding them or like influencing their mind to get them to do what, as far as what he thinks he would do. You know what I'm saying? Like they're doing what maybe they captured him and they're using his brain algorithms to kind of like train the Vex to be smarter. This is a lot different climbing up this place and like fighting for every little foothold. I'm used to just like surfing over this with my little board. It'd be kind of cool if we could see like the whole planet in the distance being changed. It's just right here for right now.
I have isolated the Saint unit's comms.
But if I am not the real Saint, then who am I?
Saint, come in.
Not the real one.
Where are you?
Just an error, compounding into the future.
The Saint unit cannot hear us. He appears to be engaged with a local signal.
A local signal? This is bringing back bad memories of Lakshmi 2 and the Endless Night. I pray to the Traveler I'm wrong.
His words about implying that he's not the original Saint, that he is some sort of deviant copy of the Saint, because like we used the Sundial to go back in time and to change history, so the original Saint 14, his original history is supposed to end with him dying. So that is implying that what, he's not the real Saint 14? Because the real Saint 14 is dead? That is one perspective to look at it, as far as like what happened to Saint 14.
Diverging from the true path, corrupting our timeline.
The Saint unit's transmission is originating from behind that barrier.
Get us in there, Failsafe. Whatever it takes.
I can bypass security with the data we collected from across Nessus.
But the Vex will be absolutely homicidal about it. Please keep them back while I work.
Upload data. Bypass the executor using data collected from your mission on Nessus. Don't think that's anything. What, just standing on the plate? Is it causing the data to build? Oh, it is, okay. What is he referring to? Is he talking about, like, killing himself off to fix that? Because he's talking about a timeline that's broken. Is he talking about, like, again, trying to put things back to the way they were? I mean, that is a perspective. I haven't really given a lot of thought to Saint 14, whether or not this is the real Saint 14 or, like, a different timeline, kind of like a multiverse Saint 14. That's a unique perspective. I kind of haven't really given that a whole lot of thought. Could be a nice, you know, sort of payoff with, it could be a nice little payoff with the, what's it called? With the implications that the real Saint 14, like, he is not the real Saint 14, and when we went back in time to...
In a symphony of consciousness, by a benevolent conductor, no divisions, no imperfections. A new age is coming.
The implications of him being a completely different Saint 14 and him being from some sort of weird timeline has really cool lore implications if that's the case. It's just something I've never given a lot of thought to. I'm trying to articulate why it's interesting because it implies that there are other versions of us out there. I mean, we know that from Elsie, you know, coming from the dark future or whatever. But the Vex are trying to correct the timeline of which the real Saint 14 is dead because him being here is an aberration.
It's the retreating Vex from earlier. This must be their final fallback position. Break through, Guardian.
Oh, it's like a vault opening up in the center. I'm like, what is happening? Okay, we're going down. Okay, this is new.
I was never meant to be here. This reality belongs to the real Saint.
Oh, I can't hurt them. Oh, they're just disappearing.
The real Saint is dead. I am only his imitation.
Saint, can you hear me?
I am not a person. Just a copy of a copy of a copy.
Who's he talking to?
Who is he talking to?
A new golden age is coming. Free from falsities. Like me.
Come on, big guy. Snap out of it. Osiris is waiting.
Osiris. Osiris! Ikora, Guardian.
I've got you, Saint. Don't worry. Thank you, Guardian.
Interesting. Oh, there's like another deeper door that we can't get to. Mesmerize. So again, I don't know if they were just telling him that to kind of mess with his head, or if this is implying that that this Saint 14 we plucked from Osiris's, like, time-traveling machine, the Sundial, that we didn't go back in time into our timeline and stop certain events from happening. We simply plucked the Saint 14 from, like, an alternate universe inside the Infinite Force, because the Infinite Force is like a simulation engine, and I'm wondering if it was like simulating different realities inside of it too. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's a lot of timey-wimey stuff, but I'm trying to wrap my head around what they're implying, that Saint 14 is not the real Saint 14. Like he was swapped out with somebody at some point. They're not trying to say like he's like Osiris, where Osiris was like body snatched by Savathun. When Saint 14 hasn't been body snatched by anybody. We simply rescued him, right?
Saint, what did they do to you?
I don't know. A voice spoke to me on Nessus. I could not deny its commands. It was not like any Vex I have seen. It connected to my mind and called itself the Conductor.
Exo and Vex do share radiolaria as a base material.
Maybe they were interfacing for intel on our operation.
They cared not of our plans. They measured my humanity, my legitimacy.
I wonder if it's because he was in the Infinite Force for so long.
What do you mean?
They said, "We are a lie, Osiris. The real Saint 14 was not meant to live. You love a forgery."
Saint.
My existence is in error. You chose me because your saint is dead.
Preposterous.
Almost like a simulation.
No. You're the man I knew before. To the serial number. In the corridors of time, I only peered into timelines that mirrored our own. I didn't want to pull you away from a happy life, or change you. I wanted to rescue you.
Wait, are you actually saying
You're
that?
as close as mathematically possible.
Oh.
Yeah.
Saint, this doesn't change anything. It's a tactic.
You feel real to me.
We know you. And you know us. You're right where you belong.
But this feeling, this displacement, it rings in my head. That voice, I hear it still. I would like to be alone. Alone, please. For now.
Yes.
Okay, so...
I know it's useless to tell you not to worry. But try. I'll look into this.
Interesting. Okay, so I don't know if this was explicitly said anywhere in the lore, but I was always under the impression that the Sundial simply put us back in, like the DeLorean, basically, from, like, Back to the Future. It plops us into a very specific point in time where we can influence Saint, and he based his whole personality and the way that he acts and how he is, like, the greatest Titan who ever lived, based off the advice and the actions we did for him in the past. I was always under the impression that that's what the Sundial did. It brought us back in time, let us speak to him in very key moments in his life to help influence and shape his path, to potentially divert his path, because his original timeline ends with him dying inside the Infinite Forest by the Vex. And then because of us, we were able to intervene in a way where we were able to save his life so that he could come out into the modern day. And then when we did that experiment, Osiris deemed that Sundial far too dangerous, and he, you know, decommissioned it or put it somewhere where it can never be used again. You know, it was a one-time thing just to help Saint 14, just to save him. But now they're implying that the Sundial doesn't do that, that the Sundial is like... how do I say? It's kind of like the time heist they did in Infinity War and Endgame, where this is kind of, it's sending us back in time, yes, but it's back in time in an alternate reality, where it's identical in every way, and we are being sent back in, like, I'm putting air quotes around my fingers right now, we're getting sent back in time in a way where, like, we're not exactly saving the original Saint 14, we're displacing or kind of isolating this Saint 14 from his own original time. I mean, we don't know. Maybe this Saint... They're saying also that this Saint 14's timeline was also going to end with his inevitable death inside the Infinite Forest. Again, they're saying, like, mathematically, this Saint 14 is almost as mathematically identical as the original Saint 14 in this timeline can possibly be. And that when we saved him inside the Infinite Forest, he was displaced into our timeline and into our reality. But again, he is not the quote-unquote original. The original is actually still dead. Still very much dead. This Saint 14 is a different Saint 14 from a different parallel universe that the Sundial was able to, like, give us access to and help us free into our Infinite Forest. It's interesting because I don't think that's ever been stated in the lore that that's what the Sundial did. I wonder if that's a retcon, or maybe I'm just misremembering. I thought the Sundial was literally a time machine, not a parallel universe, like multiverse type of time machine. But man, if that's the case, then holy hell, then yeah, he's technically not the original Saint 14. He is very much a different I mean, he's like a different person in the sense that Crow and Uldren are different people. Like, he is basically Saint 14, he's just from a different universe. It's hard to explain, but I mean, if you guys can wrap your head around that. I thought the Sundial was a lot like the DeLorean, where if you go back in time and change something about the past, when you come back to your present, it retroactively alters what's happening. But again, they're saying that it's something different, where changing your past doesn't alter your present. If you change the past and come back to the present, you're in a completely different timeline. And it's almost like saying that this is not the original timeline anymore. I mean, I know it's not, because Elsie has been going back and forth between all the different timelines, and now we are an aberration in this timeline as well. Our Guardian, the player Guardian, is something new to this timeline that from all the different timelines Elsie has visited is different. This is different for some reason. Everything, we are very much in an uncharted territory, but they're just the way that they're saying this is that it's hard for me to wrap my head around it, because I thought I was up to date on my lore, and I thought I was very certain as far as what the Sundial did. If the Sundial was only peering into alternate dimensions, kind of like the multiverse, and picking up, and like, again, that Sundial would be uber powerful if that's the case. We could have done a lot more with the Sundial if we could peer into alternate realities for information or delve into alternate realities, because we would have gone to an alternate reality where we've beaten the Witness and learned how we beat it in that reality, and then come back to this one and do the same thing, right? Why would we decommission the Sundial when it's that powerful an artifact? But I have a feeling that something has happened. I don't know. We'll see if we get some clarification. We might need to wait for Bife to make a video on this, because it's very confusing.
Hey, Captain. Is Saint Unit okay? It sounded like that voice. He called it the conductor. Is that some stuff that really got to him? I never thought I'd see him shaken up like that. He's always so strong. I figured if something bothered him, he'd just laugh it off.
Right.
But I'm sure he'll be fine. He's surrounded by people who care about him. You, Osiris, Ikora, and the whole Vanguard. No one can stay sad when they're surrounded by that much support.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I'll continue processing all the samples you've extracted from Nessus. Now that the conductor has harmed Saint Unit, I have disabled my compassion protocol. We will locate it, and we will make it pay.
Now that it's hurt Saint 14, she's like, now that it's hurt Saint 14, I'm kind of invested in making sure we shut this thing down. There's concern in self-synthesized voice as she discusses Saint's ordeal on Nessus. She's comforted by the fact that Saint has so many people around him who care about him. Failsafe will dedicate herself to studying the research samples so you can prepare to fight the conductor. Now that the conductor has harmed the Saint Unit, I have disabled my compassion protocols. We will make it pay. Episode Act 1 completed. Ikora will contact you when Act 2 begins. See, like that's just the end of Act 1. It's more or less done and over with. We just gotta wait for the rest of the act to kind of God, I can't speak right now. We gotta wait for the rest of the act to like devolve or unfold. And even, man, she doesn't even have a new, like, what's it called, research topic for us right now. That's just it. We have a golf ball? Sure, I'll take it. We got that, we got that, we got that. I'll take that. And we probably have a new weekly terminal mission.
I read your theories about Nessus. I share your concerns.
It is changing rapidly. More so than when the Vex first assimilated it. If Red War records can be trusted. It's not limited to Nessus either. The data and the radiolaria we've collected is mutating. Not a past iteration sweeping over the present Vex. As if they'd always been that way. They are now adapting in real time.
It has to be the impact anomaly. Geppetto managed to map the radiolaria flows while Saint was down there. They're swirling around the impact site for miles below the surface. It's causing disturbances in the planet's EM field, Osiris. The Vex are doing something big.
A test. One that will cost them greatly.
Is he... Do you need anything?
I appreciate your support, but let us focus on this. Saint spoke of a singular voice directing him. A conductor, not a collective. Subterfuge and manipulation are not how the Vex operate. They are cunning, but blunt in their confidence.
You think this test belies a deeper truth?
They coalesce around the impact site, around one point. Something has changed. More than the Vex themselves. What if they found a new leader?
That was my fear as well. I doubt their motives are benign.
Yes. And we will meet them in kind.
So now we've said the quiet part out loud. What they were initially worried about is like, I think the Vex have found a new leader. Is like, because they're acting in ways. He even touched on it. They're acting in ways, and they're adapting their protocols where it's affecting the past Vexed and the future Vexed. Because the Vex again travel back and forward through time just like anything else. They're like entropy, where they've always existed and they always will exist. And when Vex in the now want to change something in the past, they contact the Vex in the past, or vice versa if they want to change something about the future, they'll contact the Vex in the future. They all have a singular goal, but whatever's directing them now is causing them to make retroactive changes to both their past and future selves. It's not just happening in this timeline. The Vex are adapting and changing in the past and future timelines supposedly as well. Not in any ways where they would, be more deadly or they're going to start unraveling reality, but more like they're just becoming more difficult to fight. Their tactics are changing. They're becoming more cunning in their methodology on fighting us. They're not just, even Osiris is like, they can be cunning when they want to, but in the past they've always been like blunt in their cunning, where like you kind of get they're like a machine's trying to be sneaky, but like they are a blunt instrument of a machine, and like something is now making them do things with way more finesse. Something that's not exactly a Vex mind, it's something else is causing them to do stuff. We are supposedly not getting giant darkness vibes right now, like nothing like that. The radiolaria that we're extracting and all the samples that we're collecting, they're not tinged or they're not touched by darkness, so we're not necessarily worried about the Witness. We're very much still under the impression that the Witness is dead. They're just doing something different now. That's the word. That's the word of the day, that they're just being different. They're not acting in the ways that they're supposed to be acting. They're acting very different. Again, big revelation with that. An even bigger revelation that the Sundial wasn't doing what I always thought it did. I was, again, always under the impression that the Sundial was going strictly forward and backwards in time. It wasn't going to parallel realities or timelines to make its changes. We were going to just one past, one future. That's all it could take us. If it had the ability to travel across parallel multiverses and into multiverses in general, it sounds way too powerful an artifact for us to have in our hands at one point, and for us to either lose it or decommission it or just deem it too dangerous to work with. Especially when fighting the Witness, you'd think we would have used something so powerful like that. Just like the Infinite Forest. We lost access to the Infinite Forest on Mercury because, it was swallowed up by the darkness. Funny enough, now that the Witness is gone, you would think those planets would have re-emerged. I don't know where those planets are anymore. They never really talked about what happened to those planets. Now that the Witness is dead, you think we would just have access to Mars again. We have access to the Enclave, but again, the Witness is gone and dead and gone. You think we would have gotten back all the planets in question? Because, didn't the Witness take them away? Interesting. That's another thing that's has not been brought up yet. Why the hell are they not back? Game-wise, I know why they're not back. It's because they're still in the vault, and we haven't had a reason to bring them out of the DCV yet. But story-wise, with the Witness's destruction, you'd think they would be back by now. Why are they not back? And what did the Sundial really do? It traveled to a parallel universe to pluck Saint 14 out of a completely different timeline. Not even our timeline, it's a parallel timeline. Man, this week just brought up a whole bunch of lore stuff. Stuff that I kind of forgot about. I think the whole community forgot about it. Where the hell are all the other planets? And, where the hell... why... where is the Sundial? We need to use this thing again. If it can travel dimensions and parallel timelines, we should be busting that thing out now. And why didn't we before? I'm sure in the lore it might have been decommissioned or might have been destroyed or something, but I don't know. It just seems too good to be true. Anyways, guys, we're going to call it here, and I'm just going to keep rambling if we don't cut the video short. If you guys have enjoyed the video up until this point, be sure to leave a like. If I'm wrong about the lore, be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know how wrong I am. I don't remember anything about the lore talking about what the Sundial is and what it really does, and if this has been supposedly we've already known about Saint being from a completely parallel universe. That's something that's very rare to happen. I know Elsie Bray is one of those characters who's from a parallel universe, but she's more of a MacGuffin. And they kind of had to say that she was from a parallel universe, and she was gifted that power by the Traveler in a parallel timeline to travel to different timelines for help. But I think she was a one-off. She's not supposed to be this was supposed to be something very specific to her. And now we're being told that the Sundial could have done it all along. And it just opens up a bunch of timey-wimey stuff where, like, oh, we should just go back in time and save, you know, all the people we've lost up until now. We can go back in time and pluck Amanda from a different timeline. We can go back in time and really actually save Cade from getting killed by Uldren from a different timeline. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that thing has always been able to do that, why the hell haven't we been using it more often? It's so stupid. I wonder if it's retroactively being changed, like that Sundial technology, because maybe it originated from the Vex, and whoever this conductor thing is, when it integrated with the Vex technology, it's changing the past and future Vex tech, so that the Sundial used to be able to go back in time to one parallel universe, but since the Vex have been altered and their programming has been manipulated, now supposedly the Sundial always had that ability? Question mark. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to. I need Bife to make a video on this. Please, Bife, I need you to help me with this, please. Please, please, please. Be sure to subscribe, because we're going to be doing more Destiny when it eventually comes out. We're going to be taking a break from the main story. I'll still try to put out some Destiny content, you know, in the weeks, you know, in between. We'll try to do some Crucible stuff. We'll try to do some the raid video eventually when we get to it. I'm really trying, but, you know, my new job is kind of taking up a lot of my time right now. I'm kind of trying to focus on the major playthroughs. But I'll try to get out another Crucible video or raid video at some point. We're probably still plugging away at Gears of War 2. I think when this video goes live, I think the Gears of War 3 playthrough is probably started. We are planning on starting I'll let you guys know now, we're planning on starting a Doom Eternal playthrough. I have a much older playlist for Doom Eternal on the channel, but I think we're going to do a whole new playlist for that as well. Or playthrough of that as well, you know, to commemorate, you know, the Doom the Dark Ages game for coming out. I really like Doom Eternal, and I kind of want to go back through it and kind of retouch up on it with, like, you know, new techniques and, you know, being a more confident YouTuber now than I was back then. Yeah, other than that, be sure to subscribe to not miss out any of that content when it eventually comes out on the channel. And we will see you guys all in the next episode.